Gonna build a castle, gonna build it high, gonna build it brick by brick and stone by stone till it reaches up to the sky. When the sun goes down and the wind gets cold, we'll be warm inside. The storm will keep on brewing, but we'll have a place to hide. And we'll sing, oh Lord, the voice don't lie. We're gonna be safe and sound tonight. Oh Lord, the strong don't cry.
Alright everybody, so today I'll be making the infamous T-34. The T-34 was one of the best tanks in World War II. Many people say it was the most effective tank in the war. This tank was requested by General of World War Toys. The T-34 that I made was one of 3 tanks that I brought to Zion National Park. If you want to learn more about other tanks that I'll make, check out the Zion video where I explain it all. Anyways, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this tutorial, so let's just get into it.
Oh man, you guys have hats, man. You guys lose.
Check out the Zion video! So, to start things off, this is my old T-34. This is one of the first tanks that I've ever made, and the quality of it reflects that. Here's an image of an actual T-34. As you can see, they look nothing alike. But the only good thing about this tank is that it was the first tank that I ever made with a mechanism that allows the gun to go up and down. This makes this tank really special because most of my tanks don't have this mechanism. And almost all toy tanks don't have any of these mechanisms. So this tutorial might be a little bit more complicated. But not as complicated as the AT-AT Walker. Anyways, to start making this tank, I made the base of the tank. I cut out this cardboard plate and bent it. Then I glued on this other piece of cardboard on the same angle as the other piece. Now for the more important stuff. I cut out a piece of cardboard that looked like this. The important things about this thing is that it has to be perfectly symmetrical, and that the bottom part, where it sticks out, has to be the same width of the actual base of the tank. I made 2 of these and glued them on both sides of the tank. As you can see, the corners are hanging off. Now in order to cut out the shapes for the side of the tank, I just lined up a piece of cardboard and just cut off the excess. Then I cut out a piece for the top of the tank. Now this is where I make the mechanism for the turning turret. For this I use a little knife and I cut open a little hole on the top of the tank. Then I get the circle that I cut out and glue on a bigger piece of cardboard onto the bottom. Then I cut out the shape of the turret, which is basically a square with a curved bottom. And also, since I didn't want my tank to break, I wanted to make sure the glue stayed together. So to further solidify the bonds of the glue, I use a knife to scratch up the surfaces where the glue will be. I learned this technique from another YouTuber. Basically, the scratched up surface is better for the glue to bond to. The glue will seep into the crevices and hold on really tightly. This is why it's really easy to get paint off your hardwood flooring, but basically impossible to get it off your carpet. And it's because of how rough and coarse the surface where the paint is or the glue is. So now you glue on the 2 pieces and they should bond together nicely. And now it should be able to turn. Then I glued on this piece to the actual top of the tank, and now we're basically done with the body of the tank. Now to work on the more complicated turret. First I glue on this cardboard around the turret to give it dimension. Now it's time to make the gun mechanism. The gun mechanism is pretty easy and it works a lot like an axle on a wheel. To start off, I cut open this big hole in the front of the tank. Then I cut a cocktail stick the same width of the inside of the tank. After that, I get a long strip of paper the same width of the hole in the tank. and wrap it around the cocktail stick. You want to wrap it really nicely so it stays the same width. Then you keep wrapping it around like toilet paper until it's bigger than the hole inside of the tank. Then you want to stick the whole thing in there, and you want to make sure the paper part of the mechanism is sticking out the hole. Then you glue on both ends of the cocktail stick onto the tank, and then it should look like this. If there are any big gaps inside the hole, you can cover those by gluing on a slab of cardboard. Then I got this mechanical pencil that I got from the floor of my school, and trimmed it to the required length of the cannon, and then I glued it on. This part of the pencil is actually the back of the pencil. You can see me here trying to tear out the eraser from the back of the mechanical pencil. So if you want to make a T-34 like this one, you can use that part of the pencil. Now, like magic, it should work. Now with the mechanism done, I glue on the top of the tank. Right now the tank looks really bland. So to fix that, I start gluing on details. These are just basically things that stick off the tank, such as the doors and little mechanical thingies. You can just follow a reference picture to glue on these things. After all the details are added, I add on this covering for the wheels. This covering should just go under the hangover. Now I add the wheels for the tank. Since the T-34's wheels are really thick, I cut out 2 wheels on a foam board and glue them together to make them thicker. Now I just cut out a ton of wheels. After you're done with the wheels, it's time to make the tracks. To make the tracks, I get this thicker cardboard and peel it apart till I get this corrugation. Then I cut them into strips and glue them together to get the length that I want. Then I get some black paint and paint the whole tracks black. After the tracks are done painted, I paint the whole T-34. I paint the tank and the tracks separate because the tanks and tracks are separate colors. And black mixing with green isn't that really nice. Since the T-34 doesn't have any camouflage, it's really easy to paint. After I painted the whole tank green, I painted on this little last detail. Most T-34s have these markings on the top of the tank. So I just painted these on with a small brush and some white paint. And I don't know if this is a good choice or not, but I put LOL instead of any numbers on the tank. Then after the paint is dry, I glue on the tracks. And now you're basically done. Here's a side-by-side comparison from my old tank to my new tank. And also, here are some army men next to them. Anyways, thank you for General of World War Toys for requesting this build. And also, check out my Instagram if you want to know about future updates and future videos. I hope this tutorial helped you out in any way. And thank you all for watching.